If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your path be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our show, Let's Talk About It, a program about any and all aspects of mental health and wellness, including the tough stuff. You're listening at WCHE 95.3 FM and on the stream at 953wche.com. My co-hosts and I are public health educators, and we work with people in Chester County, hearing their stories and telling them about mental health, trauma, and suicide prevention. We know these topics aren't easy to talk about, but we hope to change that. Our goal is to share knowledge as well and personal experiences, as well as practical information and resources. This program is supported by the Chester County Departments of Health and Mental Health and the Chester County Intermediate Unit to inform and educate residents. It is not intended to be mental health advice or treatment. I'm Sara Wein. I'm the Executive Director for NAMI Chester County, PA, and I am a licensed social worker here in Pennsylvania. And today I'm flying solo as a host, but I don't think we're going to have any shortage of conversation today, because our guest is Sharon Hardin. Sharon, whom some of you who are listening may know, is an integral part of our community here in the Coatesville area. She is a retired nurse with the Coatesville VA. She has served as an officer with the Coatesville Area Branch of the NAACP and currently co-chairs their health committee. She is part of the Minority Nurse Educators of Chester County. Sharon is the chair of NAMI Chester County, PA's advisory board. And last but certainly not least, and it might not even be last, Sharon is a facilitator for a really exciting and powerful NAMI program called Sharing Hope, and soon to start co-leading a peer support group for folks. I wanted to invite Sharon to join me today to talk a little bit about the collaboration between NAMI Chester County, PA and the Coatesville Area Branch of the NAACP, to talk a little bit about the Sharing Hope program and an exciting resource that we have created for Black and Brown community members in Chester County. Sharon, welcome to our show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Sharon, I feel like I went through a list of all of the things that you do, and I also feel like I probably didn't capture even a snapshot of them. To me, you embody the mission and the spirit of giving service to others. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself and your background?
Yes, I am retired from the Coatesville VA. I was there for 21 years. I became a nurse. 1994, I graduated from nursing school. I did most bedside nursing, and then my last 2 years, 10 years before I retired, I did informatics, and I was a nurse educator for all the nurses that came through the VA. So Sarah really captured mostly everything that I've been doing. Also, I was trained for peer-to-peer in Harrisburg last year. So, facilitator for that. But I think you captured it all. I'm just happy to be here.
Awesome. And for those who may not know, our peer-to-peer is another NAMI program. It's an 8-week educational program for folks who experience mental health symptoms to work on recovery skill building. Sharon, now that you are retired, you have this very robust volunteer plate. It's very rich. What motivates you to volunteer, and what has inspired you to really focus your efforts on the city of Coatesville?
What motivates me to volunteer is I saw the need. I saw the need for my people, black and brown people. I'm a Coatesville girl, and I went to Coatesville schools, and I realize now, looking back on how many of us were hurting and in trouble as far as mentally. So I didn't realize that until I started doing this work, and I look back and I'm like, wow, we really had some problems. I had some problems. So what motivates me is my lived experience with mental health challenges. I saw it in my family. At the time, again, I didn't know, what that was, because as a black community, we didn't talk about that. And I didn't want people to suffer like I did, not being able to talk about it, because our culture would kind of downplay that sort of thing. And I said, well, I've got to break this. I got to break that stigma. And so people just don't just wander hopeless, without having hope. So that sharing hope is just like really a great one, But we just needed to know that I wanted people to know that there is hope and you can heal. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do it in Coatesville. I focused my efforts in the city of Coatesville because I saw the need in my family and my community.
Thank you so much, Sharon. And I remember my first time that I remember meeting you was very early on in my time with NAMI. I was doing a presentation on an introduction to NAMI, and it was a virtual presentation in partnership with Chester County Hospital. And you were on that Zoom, and you were actively participating. You were asking questions. You were providing feedback. And I think from that moment, I remember you private messaged me and said, I want to join your board.
Yes.
Like from the get-go, it's very clear that this has been something, a real driver for you in what you do. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the Coatesville Area NAACP, because you do a lot of work there, especially now as a co-chair of their health subcommittee.
Yes. So the Coatesville branch of the NAACP, we have a lot of committees, but the mission of our Coatesville branch is to ensure political, educational, social, and economic equality for all persons. And to eliminate race-based discrimination. So our branch has about 12 committees. Again, I am the chair for the health committee. We have a veterans committee. We have an educational committee. So we have legal redress. And so we have a multitude of committees at our branch. So what we try to do, a lot of education. We support initiatives that are happening in Coatesville and other areas, local areas. We give out scholarships yearly to 2 individuals that attend Coatesville schools, whether they're going to a trade school or a 4-year or 2-year college university. So we do a lot of outreach in that, yeah.
Awesome. And I know you also do community events. Like about 2 weeks ago, you had a day-long event for Juneteenth, correct? You had a parade. And you do resource fairs and things like that as well.
Yes, we had a parade for Juneteenth, and we had vendors, and we had tables there, informational tables. We also partnered with We City. That's a church in Coatesville. Mm-hmm. We had a table. I had a table at their health fair, and it was a walk and a health fair. So the NAACP partnered with Dr. Jolene, and we helped with that.
Awesome. Thank you. And now, so around this, connecting your volunteer work and your service with the NAACP and then with NAMI, last spring you and the president at the time of that chapter, as well as another member of the subcommittee, approached NAMI because you saw that there was a real need for mental health services in the Coatesville community, in particular peer-based services.
Right.
Can you talk to me a little bit about like what led to that? What kind of drove you all towards pursuing that?
I spoke with the president at the time, Donna Rowland, and I voiced some concerns that I was seeing when I was in the community and at my church and at events I would go to. And I saw that people were struggling with mental challenges, and I said, let's try to partner with NAMI and try to help. So again, with lived experience, family, and I saw the need was great in Coatesville, and that was just from being out there in the community, going to barbershops. After I retired, I had started going to barbershops on my own because I knew that was the first therapist for black men. So I started handing out mental health pamphlets, and then someone heard about that, and they reached out to me, and I joined this initiative called Our Hair. So, and that's when we trained barbers and stylists in how to spot issues that your clients may be having. So I just saw the need just from floating around Coatesville and saying, wow, we got to do something here, so people can get some help and heal and have hope. Because when you don't have hope, it's like a downward spiral. I've been there.
Absolutely. And I know that we also heard Chester County Hospital had partnered with, I believe, the ACEs Coalition last summer to do a survey with adult residents in Coatesville around mental health and wellness. And they had 400 respondents, which for a survey is huge. And I know that what they heard from respondents is that there is a real need for mental health services, including low cost or free therapy, as well as peer support services. And so clearly the community is asking for it. You're seeing it and observing it.
Yes.
And really the question then becomes, where do we intervene with resources, right?
Yes. And I was part of that work group, and I did see those results. And that's another reason why I thought to myself, we have to do something for Coatesville.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, it's always a shock, I feel like, when we're coming up to a break because it goes so quickly. And so we are going to take a break, but we will return shortly with our guest, Sharon Hardin. You are listening to Let's Talk About It on WCHE 95.3 FM.
If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on.
Welcome back. You are listening to Let's Talk About It on WCHE 95.3 FM and on the stream at 953wche.com. I'm your host today, Sara Wein, and I am flying solo, but I have a really incredible guest, and her name is Sharon Hardin, who is a very active volunteer in the Coatesville Area Branch of the NAACP and the chair of NAMI Chester County PA's advisory board. And Sharon, before the break, in addition to learning about all of the different experiences that you bring to our communities, we were talking a little bit about the work specifically that you've been doing in the city of Coatesville with community members, particularly around mental health and wellness. and how you have seen the need for more support, more services, more resources. And I don't think not just that there is a need, but that there is a need, a unique need, that those services and resources really be offered by members of the community,
Right.
with members of the community. And so last spring we met, we being NAMI and the Coatesville Area Branch of the NAACP, to talk about how do we bring peer support services to Black and Brown community members in Coatesville. And so what we did is we partnered, and last fall we applied for, and NAMI Chester County, PA received a grant from the Hartford Insurance Company through NAMI National for us to partner to offer a program called Sharing Hope. Can you tell us a little bit about Sharing Hope? What is it?
Yes, Sharing Hope is a NAMI program. It's for, by, and about Black and African ancestry people. We do a 3-part conversation, and during those conversations, it can range from we show a video, we talk about the video afterwards. So it's a very rich program. I mean, I think I call it my baby. It's been amazing. It's been amazing for me. It's been healing for me. I'm so grateful. The last one we had was Tuesday, and how many people were saying that this has helped them. This Sharing Hope initiative has helped them. So, like I said, it's a 3-part conversation. We've implemented 7, so that would be 21 conversations, right, Sarah? And we had 8 facilitators that were trained. So we kind of have a conversation about, if there is a curriculum that we follow, but then we can, add some things. It's just been great. And my community, they are welcoming that we plan to continue even after the grant. So we are going to probably start up again in August or September. And so, yeah, that's what Sharing Hope is. And it's been a great asset to the Coatesville community. I feel that we've helped some people. We've given people hope. We have dinner when we're in person. That's always a plus. And then, of course, Sarah provides us with all kinds of pamphlets and brochures and things for people to take with them, So when they go home, if something comes up, they have a lot of resources that they can look at later in the privacy of their own home.
The other piece that I've heard has been really well received with the program is that during the second conversation, a mental health provider from the community joins the conversation, and not necessarily as in a provider sense, but more as just showing up for a gathering. Talk to me a little bit about that and how that has kind of made a difference, or what's been powerful about that for folks.
Yes, that second conversation of each session is always just amazing. We reach out, and I usually try to find a mental health provider. Of course, they have to be of color, and they get they have some time to answer questions that the participants may have. So that part of the conversation is always amazing, because people are asking questions of a peer that's just sitting there. They're dressed like us. They're not coming with the white coat and everything. So they're sitting there either on Zoom or in person, and people get a chance to ask them questions that they may not have a chance to ask a mental health professional because of wait lists and things like that. And it's always a rich conversation, and people really get a lot out of when we have our mental health professional during that second conversation.
Awesome. And Sharon, I know that you say that this program is your baby, and truly you have really spearheaded the Sharing Hope initiative here in Chester County. You have led so many powerful conversation series over the last 6 months. You've led them in person, you've led them online. What has been the most powerful part of that experience for you?
The most powerful part of that is when people are opening up about things, and everything's confidential. We have rules that we say in the beginning of each session, but just the fact that they have hope. And I know that's like the title is called Sharing Hope, but it actually does share hope, because people are voicing that. They're like, oh my gosh, this is like, please don't stop, So, and it was healing for me. It was like I was healing while we were helping others heal. So that's the part that really was powerful for me.
That is so beautiful, and I really, truly love hearing that. Sharon, as part of the work that the partnership with the NAACP, we also created a work group,
yes,
led by a phenomenal graduate social work intern from Westchester University. Her name is Amira Ensley. She is wonderful.
yes,
To create a Chester County African American mental health resource guide. This guide is going to include information on mental health conditions, free resources in Chester County for Chester County residents, as well as resources from NAMI affiliates around us. And really importantly, it's going to have a listing of Black and Brown mental health professionals in Chester County.
right.
Sharon, can you share with us, why is a resource like this type of guide so important for community members?
Well, one word would be trust.
Mm-hmm.
We don't trust people at times. We don't trust people that don't look like us, and we won't share our deepest fears and anxieties and things that we may share with someone that's sitting across from us that looks like us. So I would say trust. The Black community, they need this resource guide. I am so happy about it. It has the Black and Brown providers. When I wanted to find a therapist, I did have one that wasn't of color, and it wasn't a good match, and so I went on Psychology Today and put in my preferences, Black male, and we clicked. And I really think that Black and Brown people, they need someone that can relate to some of their issues that they may be having. And I'm not downplaying someone that's not of color, but we don't go through the same things. So you can kind of have your cultural competency, trainings and everything, but if you haven't been there, it's hard to just, relate to that. So having this guide, I'm happy about this, because people can find providers, counselors, social workers, and people that, mirror their community, our community.
Absolutely. The resource guide is absolutely stunning, and Amira did a phenomenal job. Not only did she co-lead the work group, but she also really created the guide, the graphics and all of it. And so it's gorgeous. And this was also a work group that included members from the surrounding community, yes, who gave their input and their time and their contributions. So we want to give our biggest thanks to them as well. I'm sure a question folks have is, when can they access this resource guide? It will be available both online as well as in person at events starting in late July, which is perfect because July is also Minority Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
Sharon, talking about what's next, and that's something we're definitely talking about. We're also looking at having a physical presence for NAMI in in the Coatesville area later this summer. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so we'll be in the Equity Building on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday for me. And we'll have a presence there. We'll have our NAMI informational table, and I'll be pushing out this great initiative that we have with NAMI, because I just don't think a lot of Coatesville community members know about NAMI, that they were so close. So I've been really pushing that. I've been getting a lot of great feedback. So I'm happy to be in that building again, because my face is known in Coatesville, and I am a face of the community. And I think more people will trust and get help, come out and get help.
I couldn't agree with you more, Sharon. I think that part of the reason why the Sharing Hope program has been so successful is, at NAMI, they often say that relationships grow at the speed of trust.
Yes.
And you are someone who is trusted in the Coatesville community. You are embedded in the fabric of the Coatesville community. And so I think that people know that if you are someone who is leading something, who is advocating for something and driving something forward, that means something. Yes. Because, as you said, you have that trust of the community. Sharon, I cannot thank you enough for joining us here on the show. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I would say it has been just an absolute pleasure and a wonderful, just a gift to be able to work with you and the other Sharing Hope facilitators over the last 6+ months on all of this, and I can't wait to see what we do with these programs going forward.
Yes, thank you.
Folks, if you want to learn more about the Sharing Hope initiative, you can visit our website, www.namichescopa.org. As I shared, we will be the resource guide will be available electronically on our website towards the middle to end of July, and we will have hard copies available as well at events throughout, the summer on. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sharon.
My pleasure.
I'd like to thank our audience as well for listening to Let's Talk About It. Please join us next week at 11:30 a.m. on WCHE 95.3 FM.
Thank you.
If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your path be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on.